was just great. That was some of the most inspiring speeches that I've heard all during this campaign. And I can tell you, when I'm out and about, and when I hear what I've been hearing on the streets, I can tell you what we heard here today from a variety of speakers, from our assembly members, from our Suffolk County legislators, from those to the west, as well as our state senators. I must tell you, we are very, very excited about this particular campaign. And I can tell you that people are ready. The people are ready for us to once again take the helm of the state Senate, because they understand, as Senator Peralta mentioned just a few moments ago, that there's a lot of similarities between my past work and my present work. We, in fact, did clean up corruption in Brookhaven Town. And now is a time period, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was a time period when the cynics all around said all politicians were the same. That all of us would do the same thing as those who preceded us. Well, we proved them differently. When we went into Brookhaven Town, at that time was called Crookhaven, a shameful nickname. But when I left 3 years after that particular time that I took the helm, it is now once again called Brookhaven, and we want to do the same thing in Albany. As Senator Clark also mentioned, and it fell upon this particular legislator in his first term as a state senator to offer the first expulsion resolution in over 90 years against a colleague, now happily a former colleague, who was convicted of domestic violence. And I can tell you, we had to send a strong message to men, women, and children throughout this state, from Niagara Falls to Montauk Point, that we in the state Senate would not stand for that kind of behavior. And once that conviction occurred, we moved forward with my resolution, the strong support of the legislators here, to expel Hiram Montserrat from the New York State Senate. And that was very, very important. Now going forward, now the future. We heard earlier from Vivian Gloria Fisher, who spoke about Andrew Cuomo and about the great mandate and imperative that he will have when he goes to Albany. He needs a number of us to work with him in order to clean up and reform Albany, and he needs this particular senator from the 3rd Senatorial District to help him realize the reform agenda that he's put forward. So we're going to help Andrew Cuomo come next January as well. We have heard over a period of time, and mind you, some of us have been in the state Senate, myself, for a year and a half. We've heard about property taxes for decades. We heard about the need for Albany to address property taxes. I can tell you, for the 45 years prior to my time in the state Senate, when the Republicans were in control of the state Senate, property taxes over 20 years went up over 555% over that 25-year period. Now, are they the taxpayers' friends? No, they're not. In fact, they're the ones that enabled these property taxes to be raised as high as they have. That's why we worked together in the state Senate in this past year, not once, but twice, to pass a property tax cap. And that particular property tax cap, you should know, was opposed by many of my Republican colleagues. When we have a majority in the Senate again, when we have a new governor, I'm very, very hopeful and thankful that we will eventually pass the property tax cap and sign it into law. Additionally, we also have what's called the target circuit breaker, which also is going to help our taxpayers. The final point, and this is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, because this gets to the heart of this campaign. It separates myself and it separates us from those who are opposing us, who have relied on an age-old method of campaigning that sometimes works, but over the next 2 weeks we're going to prove it wrong. And as they've been relying on the big lie. Now, what do I mean by that? They have been scaring senior citizens throughout this particular district and also throughout the state of New York when they stated that I, Brian Foley, had eliminated the STAR program in the state of New York. Not only is that wrong, not only is that a lie, but they're preying upon the fears of those on fixed incomes, particularly our senior citizens. Let it be said here today, and over the next 2.5 weeks, and in fact over the next number of months, that my vote, along with many others who are here today, we fully funded the STAR property tax exemption, and let no one tell you otherwise.